Hi, welcome back. This is our third installment of working our way through the 110 Scrapbooking Ideas book by Creative Memories. We are moving forward. I'm so excited. I'm having a lot of fun with this series. I know I'm only done two, but I'm really enjoying it because I'm getting some of my personal scrapbooking done as well. Plus, it's just fun to see, take the sketch and then create it into a double page layout as well. So I've really been enjoying it, and I hope you are too. And thank you to everyone who's been leaving the nice comments. It really helps keep me inspired to keep going. So the sketch we're working on today is going to be right here on page number 8, and it's going to be this one right here. It has, you'll see, they only used one 4x6 photo and then a little photo down here. So I'm going to change that up a little bit and add an extra photo here, but I'll probably try and keep it just the same. Okay, so that's the sketch. I'm going to pop it up in the top again so that you can follow along as we go through it. Okay, so one more look at the sketch we're using today and the sample that they've used. So they used it for wedding photos, and they put one photo here and one photo here. I'm probably going to put one photo here and maybe use 2 of the circles for photos is kind of my plan. But I'm also considering maybe the possibility of flipping it on its side and having the banners run that way with the embellishments going down. So I'm not sure about that yet, so we'll find out as we move through this sketch. But another thing I wanted to point out about the sketches, and this kind of came to me through another site that I follow. Some people have a hard time using the sketches in this book because they don't have measurements included. So I'm hoping, like through my videos, that I can give you the measurements, or at least the measurements that I use for my layout, and then you can interpret it however you need to for your layout. So the idea behind the book is to just give you the ideas to spark something in you, not to follow exactly, but to kind of spark your imagination so that you can then use whatever works for you. So let's say you have one piece up here, and then you can always use a big chunk of 3 or 4 inches paper down here. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. This is just the idea to get you going. Okay, so I'll try and post measurements when I can, and if I don't and you need some more information, please don't hesitate to reach out through the comments. Let me know, and I will at least let you know what I think the sketch is trying to say, or what I used in my layout. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you what I'm going to work on today. These are older pictures. They're back from 2007. So I decided to use this Seaside pack. And in case you're wondering, the Seaside pack is still available. It's under the last chance sections, which means that once they run out, then they're not going to sell this one anymore. And this is such a beautiful paper pack. I'll show you real quick. I am just kind of a sucker when it comes to anything nautical looking. I just love red, whites, and blues mixed together. Okay, so that's the cover page, and always remember that this is photo safe, so we can always use the back side as a page, or in our making embellishments or borders. Okay, so here we have the seashell page. And the one thing about Creative Memories that I like is this is probably the only icon type paper in this pack. There's not, then they kind of make other designs that represent or give you the feel of nautical, but they don't bombard you with all of these icon papers that we wouldn't be able to use. So this is beautiful. It's just a little bit more challenging to use. Okay, and then the back side is this gorgeous blue, and it's a tone on tone, and it has a little design running through that, if you can see that. And then this one is anchors and lobsters. Again, this has icons, but they're very small, so this one's a little bit easier to use. And then this one looks like knots on rope. Then of course, nautical, you want to have your stripes. This, for some reasons, to me represents nautical at its best. Love that piece. Here's a piece of distress. It's kind of a creamy white with a gray, almost like gate look to it. It's beautiful. This one's a whitewash or watercolor blue. And then the back side to that one is this gorgeous red. It's like a fabric. If you look pretty close at it, it's a fabric. Looks like a fabric. The paper's not fabric. It just looks like a fabric. And then this is the same print that was on that blue one, but enlarged red. It's very nice. So you see there's a lot of tone-on-tone type papers and just basic papers, what I would call basic. I would call the one with the seashells, I call that more of a fancy page, fancy paper, and then this more basic. Blue and white stripes, kind of like stripes in columns. This one too is gorgeous. It's a basket weave. And then this one is a sand, looks like sand. Okay, so those are the papers in the Seaside collection. Available with this is the sticker pack, which has one whole page of border strips. And here's where you can get your icons in. So sea life and seashells, okay? And then one page of sayings and quotes, titles, and word stickers. Okay, that's the pack I'm going to be using. Now let's get into what I'm going to do. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be doing some beach photos. So let's pull the sketch back in here again really quickly and talk about the papers that we need. So we need a background piece, and because I'm doing a double page spread, I will need to have two, and I tend to go to two of the same size, but that's not necessary. You can do two different colors bases if you want, but I usually tend to go toward having the same just because it's the same theme running throughout my page. Okay, so it looks like there's at least 4 or 5. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 patterns used in this layout. Now, I probably won't use that much. I'm okay doubling up a couple of these. So we're going to see how it goes, but yeah, 7, I'm going to end up with a lot of scrap. So I want to think about that ahead of time also. And another thing I wanted to note about the book is as I'm going through, I am noting, I'll show you my little note here. I am noting on a page when I see that it's great use for scraps, and this layout is a great use for scraps. So instead of cutting into all the 12 by 12 pieces, if you had scraps laying around, you can do this exact same layout with scraps. But I'm going to use those full sheets. So I want to try and conserve as much as possible. So I might be doubling up, but we'll see as we go along. So I need to gather at least 4 different patterns. I need for each stripe, I'd like to do a different pattern and then a background piece. And we'll start with that and see how we go. Okay, so what I decided on was I'm going to give up this basket weave print. I like it a lot, but I want to use it for sand because I have a lot of sand pictures where we're playing in the sand, so I thought the sand paper would be really fun. So my layout's basically gonna go like something like this. I'm gonna put my horizontal pictures, I know for sure will come on this page, and I'll decide how I'm going to do that in a bit. And then my circular, I'm going to cut this one into a circle, so it'll go down there. This one will come over here. And then the 3 of them playing in the water will go there. This is another really good one to cut into a circle, so that'll be my second circle. And then they have a horizontal photo. I'm going to turn mine vertical and probably trim a little bit, but it'll go something like this. And then the 2 circles, and then I will have a journaling box right there and my strips. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away page number 2 for now and scoot in page number 1, and let's work on that. So what I decided was to use as the strips is I'm going to do red at the top, and then down here at the bottom I'm going to use the blue with the anchors and the lobsters on it, and also this blue stripes into columns. And then lastly, I'm going to bring in this wonderful stripe that I love so much. So it's probably going to go something like this down at the bottom. Okay, let me grab my trimmer and let's cut some of these. Scoot that aside. I'm going to move my pictures out of the way for a moment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I think that each of the pattern papers are going to be cut into a 1.5 inch strip. Okay, so when I'm taking my red piece, I have to decide, do I want my strip to go this way or this way? So remember I said this one looks like a piece of fabric. So I think what I want is my strip coming out, I want it to be in that direction. I'm checking the back side to see what I'm going to be cutting off on the back side. Okay, so I'm going to do 1.5 inches. I'm going to use this side of my trimmer so I can hold it in place nice and snug. There we go, that's 1.5 inches. And I'm going to do the same thing for these other papers. I'm going to make a decision, and so I'm going to do the same things for the next few pieces. Okay, there we go. Here's what that's going to look like. Something like that. Okay, and now what we want to do, we don't want the strip to run all the way to the edge, so I do want to take off 1 inch on all of those. So we're going to cut it to an 11-inch strip. So if you're writing this down for future use, these strips going across are going to be 11 inches. So I'm going to take off 1 inch, and I'm stacking them all together, and I'm just going to push down really hard on that and go back and forth until I get them all off at once. Okay, so let's put this back the way it was, like that. I'm going to have this one in the middle, the stripes on the top, and this one at the bottom. And then what we want to do is we want to cut the little notch in it, right? Like the picture shows. I really like that idea. And what I'm going to do is, they put flowers on theirs. I'm going to pick some of these icons from the sticker sheet, the smaller ones, and put those on the inset of that cove. Okay, so what I'm going to do to cut my circular shape is, so I'm going to pull in my circle punch to make that curve, and this one is 1.5 and this is 1.5, so I think that'll be the best match. Then what I'm going to do is line it up so that I'm just taking off a notch right there. You can take off as much as you want. I'm pressing it down so it holds it in place, and then I'm going to punch. Okay, yeah, that did not cut very nicely, so I'm going to have to trim that up. I'll take care of that. Let's try it again. Might need to fix that. Decide, on this one I was looking at to decide what side. This one has just blue and white. This has blue, white, and red, so I'm going to take it off of just the blue side. Again, I'm going to line it up so that I have just, what I did was right where those corners start to poke through the circle is where I stopped. Okay, and then I'm holding it there, and then I'm going to give it a punch. There we go, that one punched much better. Oh, kind of. Oh, I'm going to have to trim that one up too. Try this one more time. I think I might have to go get some wax paper and put it through my punch here. Okay, ready? That one punched nice. And there we go. And number 4. See, I'm sliding it in until it, I don't want it like that because you see my corners are wiggly and showing, right? As soon as they stop showing, holding it in place and punching it upside down. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to give these a little trim, clean up that jagged area as best as I could. There we go. You see that it's a little bit choppy, but that doesn't bother me at all. This one might be a little harder, so let's see. There we go. So we had it like this. So I'm measuring it by having it down here at the bottom. Let me scoot that up. I just want a little bit of the sand showing through. Now you could always make these strips smaller if you want. You can make them larger if you want to. It really depends, but I'm trying to keep it as close as I can to the sketch, and I think that's about 1.5 inches. Okay, so let's take our photos again and place them on where they're gonna go. So something like that. So let's get our circle cutter out. I have it right here. And do that one first, put that one aside. So what I want to do here is I'm going to use my blue and my green blades, and I'm going to put the green, use the green first, and I'm going to cut my picture in the green with the green blade, because that's going to equal a 4-inch circle. And then that way I have my blue one out so that I can then use another piece of paper to make a mat behind the photo, and this will give me a 1/4 inch mat around it. So this will be 4 1/4 inches, and this will be 4 inches around the smallest circle in our custom cutting system. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And let's see here. Okay, there we go. Now, it might have been a little too big. I did get a couple flat, I got a flat spot right there, but again, I think that's going to be okay. We'll work with that. And let's see if I can position this one a little bit better. When you're using this, I like to, that's my subject right there. So I want her in the center. And I really like to have the wave in the background, but it's just not going to work out. So I think it's more important to have her in the picture. She's boogie boarding. Probably one of the first times that they went boogie boarding. And I remember that we had just bought them all boogie boards for Easter. And so we were at the beach giving them a try. That's why he has this crazy one that looks like a shark. Okay, so again, I have a flat spot, but we're going to work on that. I can always come back through and use my red blade if that bothers me to get a little bit closer cut. So that's always an option also. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. Let's see, how do we want this? Maybe like this. Yeah, I might come back through and cut those down just a tad. Okay, but let me get my personal trimmer really fast and trim off this photo. So if you didn't know, when you're cutting photos, you want to try to avoid cutting them on your 12-inch trimmer because it will dull the blade a lot quicker. So you would want to use your personal trimmer. Now you'll see I have the old version of that, and that just goes to show you how well these products were built and made, because this one has lasted me so many years. And it's working just fine, so I don't have a need to replace it right now, so I probably won't. But this is probably one of my favorite tools that they've ever made, and I'm sure the new one is just as good. So I'm going to just cut off some of the blue sky here. We don't need that much showing. And I might trim this down a bit. Let's see, I think I might go to a 3.5. Because my main focus here is just my son. And then it's going to go something like this. So see how I'm using a vertical picture instead of the horizontal picture that was in the sketch. Okay, so yes, I'm thinking my circles are too big. So I'm going to grab my medium and large circle cutters and make these a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's see here. A long time ago, I made this chart. I don't know if you want to screenshot this, but I made this chart that tells me if I'm using the red blade and if I'm using the outside or the inside of my circle cutter, then these are the dimensions I'm going to get. So if I'm using the inside of my circle cutter and I'm using red, I'm going to get a 3.5-inch photo. Green, 3 3/4, and then blue, 3-inch. So I think I'm going to try the 3.5-inch. It's going to take off at least a 1/2 an inch. These are 4 inches already. Let's see here. Let's get our mat back in here. Let's see here. Okay. How much of my photo will be taken off? Yeah, I think I'm going to do green, and it's going to be 3 1/4 inches. So I'm taking off about 3/4 of an inch off that photo. It's pretty big right now. I don't want them quite that big. Okay, so I just aligned it. I'm kind of holding that circle pretty snugly because it is kind of a smaller piece under there. Not a lot for the circle to grab onto. Okay, yep, love that, much better. Okay, and I'll do the same thing to this picture, and I got rid of that flat spot, didn't I? So when I go to make the mat for this one, I will need to use the red blade on the inside. Somebody remind me about that later, please. Okay, let's get this. Again, I'm kind of holding it snug so that it won't move around too much, and get my exact photo. Yep, there we go. What do you guys think? I think I like that size much better. That's got some static going on here. Or something sticky, I'm not sure. Okay. Let's see what we have going on here now. Probably put something like this. Bring this photo down just a tad. We can cover up this area, and I'll probably do it here. And then I need a third circle about right here for my journaling box, and cut that into a circle too, because I did like that idea. Okay, I'm also going to mount this, and at this point I think I'm going to mount it in, actually I think I really like the red. I'd like to bring in the red, or maybe I'll bring in the red down here and put blue. Yeah, maybe I'll put blue here, red here, and then I'm gonna have to come up with a color for that. So I'm gonna do that and adhere what I have, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I started to mat everything and started to adhere everything, and then I wanted to pop back on because here I have to make a decision, and I wanted to bring you guys along with that decision. So the decision is with the second page. Let me slide this over and bring this in. So I have my second page. A lot of static going on today. I have my second page, and so originally I thought something like more strips on the other side, and they would be in the same orientation as they are over here. So the red, the anchors, the stripes, and then the blue striped columns down here. But then I did not like the flow of it. So here's what happens when I do a page and make a corresponding page to go with it. I like to call this one like my decorative page, or the pretty page, or the page that's going to take me the longest is going to be over here on the left side. And then this coordinating page is my easiest page. It's going to be maybe more of a grid or something very like linear, where the photos are just lined up. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. My main focus is on this, and I just want to extend it because I have more photos to add. So what I'm thinking is on this page, possibly flipping it around. Let me put my photos on. So it'll go I always seem to put my children in age order on the layout. Does anyone else do that? So I have to like concentrate to put the oldest one, not always at the top. So I'm going to mix it up, something like that. Now I am going to trim these down. There's a lot of stuff off to the side that we don't need, people in the background and stuff. So I still want to think about that, but it's going to go something like this. And then I want a little bit peeking out here and a little bit peeking out over there. So I kind of like that idea. So it's this page that I want to work on. So that's why I wanted to pause the camera. So I think what I'm going to do is flip it around and change the orientation so that it kind of butts up like this. So it looks like one long strip. And then the same will be down here. I'll line them up nice and neat before, as I adhere them, so that it looks like one long piece going to the other side. And then over here is where I will put the embellishments like the sketch says. Okay, so something like that. And so that means that now we're looking at it backward. So let's see, this picture would still go here. And let me talk about this picture really quickly. So I decided I wanted to mat it on white first to make it pop out. He was kind of fading into the background, the blue and the blue. So I put the white there to kind of stand out. And that is kind of my signature photo for this layout, right? Because we're talking about the new boogie boards that they all got. You see them over here. They all have their new boogie boards, and we're at the beach trying them out. And then I matted these. I just used the back sides. I used the red up here. So I wanted to kind of bring that down. And then I used the back side of the stripes to give me this one. Okay, and then this one is Creative Memories lined paper. So if you didn't know, they do sell lined paper, a 12 by 12 piece. They sell 3 different shades. They sell white, Spargo, and then this one is called Natural. So this is the Natural. It's double-sided. I guess so that way if you're handwriting, you make a mistake, you can flip it over. And so I'm going to tuck it in here just like it was on our photo. Oh, you see, I might have to rethink this strip here now that I changed it around. I might have to swap it out for that one, because now my little anchors and lobsters are upside down. So we will have to swap that out. But so it's going to go like this. Okay, and then I will have this one, my journaling area right there, and then this one and this one like that. So you'll see my husband in the water with them. That's pretty much how it is. I love the beach, but I don't really go in the water that much. So and living in California, and I do love the beach, but going in the water, I'll go in maybe one time while we're there. Anyway, I wanted to show one other thing with this. When I trim these, I don't know if you can see I'm guessing my blade, it's getting ready. My trimmer is getting ready for me to flip the mat over, because I'm getting little hairs, little fibers coming out from my paper. So when you see that, it probably means that you need to change your the mat in your trimmer around. Okay, the little strip. Show you. So it's this strip right here, and it just comes out. You just pop it out through here and you turn it around so you can start cutting on the other dotted line. Okay, so I probably just need to get that taken care of. I'll try a few cuts and see. Okay, so I think I'm liking this much better, so that I have I have my pretty page over here, and I don't know why that is. I can't reverse them. I just, for some reason, I like to always have my pretty one on the left-hand side and the rest of the photos on the other page. Okay, so now I really am going to get these adhered down. I'm going to flip my blue strip around. I'm going to trim my photos and get them in place. I don't think I'm going to be matting these at all. And then I will come back and I will show you where I'm going to do some embellishing. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so here's what I ended up with. And everything is adhered down. And you see I ended up making this banner run all the way across. And then same with the 3 down at the bottom. And I fixed this one so the lobsters and the anchors are facing the right direction. And it worked out really perfectly, because I had the strip from this side that I had to trim, and it was the one hidden behind the pictures. So I was able to cut it like right about here, pull it out to line it up here. So it's missing a little chunk underneath there, but no one would ever know that. One thing I was thinking about with this layout, it would be really cute if I took this here and did it over here too. That would be super cute, and you wouldn't even need to put the embellishments on it. So, but that was just an idea I wanted to share. I might do that again on a different layout, but so yeah, that's what I have. So let's get this embellished. Oh yeah, and I did trim these down. I did a 1/2 inch off of the sides, but I left them as 4 inches because I didn't have much room to crop on some of them. So I just took some off the side to make it fit better. Let me see. Okay, so here we go. Let's embellish. So first thing I want to do is I want to put some little stickers there. So I am using the sticker sheet here, both sticker sheets actually. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put seashells and some beach. Let me just overlap these a little bit to make it a little bit easier to see. It's hard to get all of them in the 12 by 24 in frame. Okay, so I'm going to put seashells, and I have a little seagull, which is funny because we don't really like the seagulls at our beaches here. I don't know how they are anywhere else, but they're kind of aggressive here. But what I did was I looked for the smallest ones, and then I was wondering if I should pop them up, but I think I kind of just wanted it as a little accent. So I am following along like the sketch and putting a sticker. This was a 1.5 inch cut, so I looked for stickers that were approximately about 1 inch in diameter. There were some that were a little over 1.5 inches, but I thought they were too big, so I went with that. Okay, so what I do next is I like to figure out the 2 most important things on my layout would be the journaling and then some kind of title or something that you know, acts as a title. So here on the sketch, they use this circle right here for the title, but since I put a picture in, I'm going to, I've selected this sticker off the sticker sheet. It says happiness comes in waves, and I thought that was perfect for our boogie boarding day. And I'm going to put it right here. I want it more over toward this one because right here the waves are actually crashing up against my husband's legs, so I want it like that. So now I have my journaling box and my title, and then I want to put my embellishments. So I like to do it in a visual triangle, and I'm going to use these little green markers to kind of show where I'm going to do it. So my visual triangle would be here, and then I can come down here where my title is and do a cluster there, and then I probably will do another cluster right there in the center of these 4 pictures over here because there's nothing in those 4, and when I laid them out I kind of did that on purpose so that I could embellish right there. So before I start, I like to kind of know where I'm gonna put the clusters, and so I use those little markers. I use those a lot, and in the sketch that I'm following, these are the 2 spots that they already indicated, so that was pretty convenient. Okay, and if I was doing just a 1 page, I would leave it at just those 2. I wouldn't try and squeeze a 3rd one on necessarily. You could, but it would have to be a really small one, and maybe it would be right up there if it was a 1 page, or maybe just a little banner and some words or something. Okay, so that's where my clusters are going to go. And what I decided is, get this lined up again. Okay, we'll start up here at the top. I liked this big starfish, came off the sticker sheet, and I'm going to tuck it right there underneath my journaling box. And then I decided I was going to I wanted to bring in a little bit more punch of red, so I brought in the little anchor. All of this came off of the sticker sheets. And then I like this little starfish down here, so I'm going to put him something like that. And then I'll take the little blue. I wanted to bring some more blue in down there, so I'll do that. Then I have to start working over here, and I really wanted, I have this orangey reddish color, and the only thing that was really on the sticker sheet was this seashell that says relax, but I want to cover that up. So, oh, I should have mentioned on the title, I did pop that up on some foam. That's why some things are tucking underneath there. Okay, so the same thing with this sticker, says sunshine and salt water. I thought that was appropriate. I popped that up. And what I want to do is I want to cover up the word relax. I just want this orangey color over here to kind of guide you across the layout. And because I had it in these clusters, I wanted to add it over there. But I do want to try and cover up the word relax. So when I adhere it permanently, I will place that just right so it covers up the word. And then I'm going to tuck that little anchor right in there so the whole word is covered up. And all I really have is the color popping out. I like to do my clusters in odd numbers. So I would either have like 1 or 3, and then going up from there. So if I wanted to add any more to this, then I would add probably 5. I just like to keep things in odd numbers. It seems to work really well for me, and it kind of gives me a guide as to what to do. So I don't do a lot of big clustering. I like to think of myself as a simple cluster, simple but embellished is what I always tell people. And I just like to have some kind of consistency. So that said, over here I have a 1, 2, and so I wanted to add a third one. So I'm taking this shell sticker because it matches the shells that got covered up. So I'm simply going to do that and tuck it underneath the red. And so you see how that changed it? When I had 2, it looked fine, but then I just added a third one and voila, it popped it right up, right? So that's going to be my layout. I'm going to do some journaling right here. I'll probably do some journaling before I permanently stick those. I might pop those up, but that's it. I think it came out really good. I hope that you guys liked it. I hope that you're inspired. If you have any questions on the measurements, please put them down in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. And we're done. Number 3 is in the books, and we'll be moving on to number 4 shortly. So thank you for joining me, and have a great day. Bye-bye.